In the winter of 1959, deep in the Ural Mountains of Soviet Russia, a group of 9 experienced hikers embarked on an expedition they would never return from. The Dyatlov Incident, as it came to be known, has baffled investigators, scientists, and conspiracy theorists for over 6 decades. What started as an adventure into the wilderness turned into one of the most enduring mysteries of the 20th century. 9 lives lost under bizarre and inexplicable circumstances, and to this day the truth remains elusive. What happened on that cold, desolate mountain? The story begins with 10 hikers, mostly university students from the Ural Polytechnical Institute in Sverdlovsk, who set out on a skiing and mountaineering expedition. Led by Igor Dyatlov, the group was well prepared for the harsh conditions. All of them were experienced in winter survival, and their goal was to reach Torton, a mountain in the northern Ural region. The group, consisting of 8 men and 2 women, was in high spirits as they began their trek on January 27, 1959. However, one member, Yuri Yudin, fell ill early in the journey and was forced to turn back, leaving the remaining 9 to continue. The team followed a route that was meant to be challenging but achievable for a group with their level of expertise. Their planned journey would take them through rugged, snow-covered terrain. The conditions were harsh, with biting cold and frequent snowstorms, but this was not unexpected. On February 1st, the group made their final camp on the eastern slopes of Koletsayakl, a name that translates to Dead Mountain in the local Mansi language. The location of the campsite would become crucial to the mystery that unfolded. When the hikers failed to return as expected, concern grew. Families alerted authorities and a search party was launched. What they found would become the heart of the enigma that still haunts investigators today. It was February 26th when the search team discovered the hikers' abandoned camp. Their tent, partially collapsed and covered in snow, was an unsettling sight. Stranger still, the tent had been cut open from the inside. Inside the tent were the group's belongings: warm clothing, boots, food, all left behind. The hikers had seemingly fled into the unforgiving elements with nothing more than the clothes they were sleeping in. But why would experienced mountaineers, familiar with the dangers of the cold, abandon their shelter and survival gear in such a manner? As the search expanded, the bodies of the hikers began to be found, but the circumstances surrounding their deaths only deepened the mystery. The first 2 bodies were discovered at the edge of a nearby forest, barefoot and dressed only in their underwear. It was as if they had fled the tent in a panic, running into the freezing night without taking the time to put on proper clothing. A few hundred meters away, the body of Dyatlov himself was found, lying face down in the snow, as if he had tried to return to the tent. Over the next few days, more bodies were discovered scattered across the mountain slope, but the final 4, found 2 months later, would reveal the most unsettling clues. What could have driven them to leave their tent, essentially dooming themselves in the frigid cold? Was it an avalanche, a threat from wildlife, or something more sinister? Initially, hypothermia seemed like the most plausible explanation. After all, the temperature on that night dropped as low as -30 degrees Celsius. But as the investigation continued, the case took a darker and more puzzling turn. Autopsies revealed shocking and disturbing details. While some of the hikers had died from hypothermia, others had suffered traumatic injuries. One had a fractured skull, and 2 others had massive chest fractures. The force required to cause such injuries, according to forensic experts, would have been comparable to a car crash. Yet, oddly, there were no external wounds, only internal damage. Perhaps the most chilling discovery was that one of the hikers, Lyudmila Dubinina, was found with her tongue missing. Her eyes were also gone, but this was likely due to natural decomposition in the weeks before her body was found. Still, the missing tongue raised a disturbing question: was this the result of a natural process or something more horrific? These injuries could not be easily explained by a simple fall or avalanche. In fact, there were no signs of an avalanche at the site: no snow deposits, no disturbed debris, nothing that indicated a large-scale snow movement. And yet, something had driven these seasoned hikers into a deadly panic. The official Soviet investigation concluded with an unsatisfying explanation: a compelling natural force was to blame. But what that force was, no one could say. The Dyatlov incident quickly became the subject of speculation and conspiracy. Many questioned the lack of solid conclusions and the strange details surrounding the hikers' deaths. Over the years, theories have emerged, each attempting to explain the unexplainable. One of the earliest theories was that the hikers had been the victims of a military experiment gone wrong. The Soviet Union, known for conducting secretive missile tests and military operations, was possibly responsible for their deaths. Some suggest that the hikers inadvertently stumbled upon a test site, encountering something so terrifying that it caused them to flee their tent in the middle of the night. Further fueling this theory were reports of strange orange spheres seen in the sky around the time of the incident. These could have been missile tests or flares, but to some they hinted at something far more ominous. Another popular theory is that the hikers were exposed to infrasound, a type of low-frequency sound that can cause disorientation, panic, and physical discomfort, generated by natural phenomena such as wind passing over mountains. infrasound could have created an overwhelming sense of fear in the hikers, driving them into irrational behavior. Then there are the more outlandish theories. Some speculate that the group was attacked by a Yeti or some other creature of the wilderness. Others believe extraterrestrial involvement, suggesting that the strange lights in the sky and the hikers' bizarre injuries were evidence of an alien encounter. But while these theories capture the imagination, none provide definitive answers. The case remains officially unsolved. In recent years, modern technology has been employed to revisit the incident. One scientific theory, based on advanced computer modeling, suggests that a rare type of avalanche, known as a slab avalanche, may have occurred. In this scenario, a large compact layer of snow could have shifted silently, causing the hikers to flee their tent. This would explain their panic and some of the injuries, though it still leaves many questions unanswered. In 2020, Russian authorities officially reopened the investigation and reaffirmed that an avalanche was the likely cause. But for many, this explanation still doesn't fully account for all the strange details. The mystery of Dyatlov Pass continues to haunt those who seek the truth. For the families of the 9 hikers, the Dyatlov Pass incident is not just a mystery, it's a tragedy that took their loved ones far too soon. The 9 hikers, each with dreams and ambitions, now rest in the cold wilderness where their journey ended.